Ciao a tutti da Luca Viscardi, siamo qui davanti allo stand della Ubuntu direttamente dal CES di Las Vegas per farvi vedere in anteprima il sistema operativo Ubuntu che è stato adattato e sviluppato per smartphone. Integralmente vedrete tra poco un breve video di presentazione che ci hanno fatto qui i ragazzi dello stand. Non è possibile purtroppo provare personalmente i device, tuttavia ci hanno fatto vedere un pochino le principali caratteristiche. Come potrete vedere nel video che andremo adesso ad attaccare a questa presentazione iniziale, ci sono delle feature principali, come ad esempio la barra delle ultime applicazioni utilizzate, che è quella sul lato sinistro. In basso invece c'è la barra delle opzioni, dove si accede a tutte le opzioni avanzate dell'applicazione, e invece facendo lo slide da destra verso sinistra si ha il passaggio sulle ultime applicazioni. Questo detto in pochissime parole. Vedete adesso la presentazione che ci hanno fatto poco fa i ragazzi qui dello stand. Buona visione.
One thing that we're doing with Ubuntu is we're building this overall conversion strategy. So the goal here is to build a single ubiquitous operating system that runs across all of your devices and the cloud as well. So we started out in 2004, we built Ubuntu for desktop, became the most popular desktop OS out there. Then we built Ubuntu for cloud, the most popular cloud OS out there. And then we've been focusing on the devices. We have Ubuntu for TV and Ubuntu for Android as well. You can build a full Ubuntu desktop from your Android phone. So part of the goal here, we had a couple of design goals. One is wanting to build a phone OS that doesn't require any hardware buttons. Most handset manufacturers want a really low bill of materials, so there's no reason to have buttons on a phone. You should just be able to use the screen for everything. And then secondly, we found that from user testing, most people don't like their current phones, because if you want to access your music, you have to go to a music application. If you want to access your videos, you have to go to a video application. And it gets even worse with social media. You have to have your Facebook app open, Google Plus app, Twitter app open. And you're constantly flicking between all of these applications to get through it. So we wanted to build something that was really personal to the user, that fit neatly into the phone itself. And this really starts from the welcome screen. This is not a lock screen. Like lock screens, this kind of artificial barrier between you and your content. And the idea of the welcome screen is twofold. First of all, it shows things that relate to you. How many tweets you've received, how many Facebook messages you might have, how many missed calls you've had, that kind of stuff. And then secondly, we spend a lot of time focusing on design across Ubuntu. So this kind of design with the orange circles, this varies depending on the day and the time and what you're doing with the phone. So this is very personal to you as well. So in trying to build a phone that doesn't require any hardware buttons, what we did is we hot-rodded each of the edges of the screen with different functionality. So for example, the left edge here, this is your most frequently used applications that you're using. So for example, if I can slide up and down here, we found that most people use like 3 to 5 apps. Web browser, email, Angry Birds, as an example. Those are the kind of things that most people are using in and out. So this provides real quick access to that. At the bottom we have this Ubuntu button. Tap that, and this takes you home. This is where I was talking about content earlier on, about real easy access to content. The problem that we had was, again, if you want access to your music, you want to access your videos, that kind of stuff, you have to go into these different applications. This integrates it right into the core OS of the phone. So for example, we have frequently used applications, frequently used missed calls, film releases, music. All of this is related to you. So if you like a lot of comedy movies, you're going to see comedy movies listed in here as an example. So this provides a nice overview of access to your content that you own and content that you can get. Where then typically you often want to delve into different content types a bit more deeply. So for example, if I scroll to the right, I can see my currently running apps, frequently used apps, installed applications, apps that are available for download. We have this search box at the top as well. So for example, in the apps, if I was to search for Angry Birds, it'd update this view and show me everything that matches that search term. So for example, I could search for Angry Birds, and it would appear in my list of apps available to download. and then I can tap it and download it without having to go to an app store. We will have an app store so you can see ratings and reviews and all that kind of stuff, but it just provides real quick access to it. So we have other views as well. We have videos, people, access to your music, all of that kind of stuff is available built into the phone. Now, one of the goals that we had, one of the problems that we found with Ubuntu on the desktop is people use the mixture of native applications and web apps. But your web apps are always trapped inside your browser tabs. So for example, if you're using Google Calendar, and you want to check your calendar, you don't want to have to go to a browser tab to see your calendar. You want to integrate it with your calendar on your system or your phone. So we wanted to fix that. We fixed that in Ubuntu 12.10 on the desktop. So for example, if you use Gmail in a browser tab, you can quickly flick, it acts like a real application. You see notifications and all the rest of it. And we obviously brought that to the phone. So this is like your conventional list of people, like your address book. And for example, if I select this one, Florian, you can see that we've got his latest Facebook messages already there. Now if I tap this wasn't working earlier on because our internet's down. If I tap this, it's still down. Hang on a second, let me get out of this. So if I tap this, what I can do is it would then take me to the Facebook mobile version, and I could reply to him directly from there. So all the different social networks are integrated pretty neatly into it.
Via WebKit. Via WebKit.
Yeah. And then the other thing that's neat about the people view is you can see these green and red squares, and they show whether they're online on your social networks as well. So that shows like the web integration, but then obviously we wanted to build a really rich platform for native apps as well. So let me show you that. So as an example, this is the gallery, and this is just a breakdown, a day-by-day breakdown of all of your different pictures and videos. And one of the things to note about this is that it's we've worked really hard over the last few years to provide as much access to content as possible. So the Ubuntu desktop provides the greatest level of access to your content than any other desktop operating system out there. We don't clutter the interface up with buttons and toolbars and scroll bars and widgets and all that kind of stuff. We just provide real quick access to your content. So you can see all of the different photos that we've got available. So for example, we can select one. Now I talked about how the left edge is there to load your frequently used applications. The bottom edge is for tools that relate to the application that's open. So if I slide up, you can see we've got some buttons available that relate to that particular image. So for example, I can click share, and then I can share that picture on Facebook as an example. Now one of the problems that we found in doing our assessment of existing phone platforms is that configuring your phone is really difficult to use. Because what you have to do is you have to exit out of your current app, you have to find your list of applications, you have to go to your settings, you then have to find the right category, then you have to hope that that's the right category and then make the configuration change. And then sometimes what happens is you pick the wrong category, it's a pain to do. This is what the top edge is for. You can see we have all of these different icons, one that's for messages, one that's for your audio, for network, for your battery, for your time. What we do is we slide down, we slide left and right, and that's where we can configure these different things. So we can configure the networks. So we don't have to exit out of our application, we can just go there and do it really quickly and easily. It's really simple. And this leftmost one is our messages. And this is a really neat feature because right now on existing phones, if you want to message on different networks, you have to use your Facebook app, your Google Plus app, your Twitter app, your list of SMSs, your call log. This is all aggregated in one view. And you can go and reply to each of these messages from that view as well. So you have one place to see all of your messaging happening. And then the final edge on the right, this is for multitasking. We found that multitasking on existing phone operating systems is overly complicated. Most people use 3 to 5 applications and they flick between them, email, web browser, Facebook, that kind of thing. So with the right edge, we can just slide to the right. This provides quick and easy access for flicking through our different applications. And then if you want to get back to the home screen, you just slide from the left, and then we're back there. And that's basically how it works.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Where are the apps?
Sorry?
Where are the apps?